Welcome everybody to The Scramble, where we take recommended doses of everything great in the world of gaming, mix it up, and serve it to you in one hot, fresh, and tasty show. My name is Samantha, and I'm your host for The Scramble. It's our first episode for 2021, and we're starting this year out fast and furious with our E1 Championship feature. First off, we got a feature interview with F1 superstar and E1 Championship founder Alex Yoong, and he'll be talking technicals with our producer Kevin Evangelista to take us through what the E1 Championship is all about. Next up, we'll be sitting down for an interview with two Filipino racers in the E1 Championship, Inigo Anton and Wakeen. We'll get to know them and their racing histories before they move on to compete in the finals of the E1 Championship in the coming days. Lastly, we're going to see the return of the ROG Phone 3 in hands-on, but it's got some 2021 upgrades with it, this time in the form of the ROG Kunai 3 Gamepad. I'll be taking it through the paces in some racing games, and we're going to see if Mario Kart expertise transfers over to racing sims. All that and more in this episode of The Scramble. So for our first segment, our producer Kevin Evangelista sat down remotely with E1 Championship founder Alex Yoong to introduce us to the league. Let's see how that went down.
Hi guys, I'm Kevin Evangelista of Brentford TV, one of the producers for The Scramble. I'm filling in for Sam in this interview so we can talk technicals with Alex Yoong. I've been a lifelong fan of motorsports, F1, D1GP, and rally racing in particular. And being a gamer, I've also racked up tons of hours in games like Need for Speed, Dirt Rally, Race Driver Grid, and the Gran Turismo series. But that's enough about me. We're here to talk E1 Championship League, and we've got founder Alex Yoong here to take us through it. Hello Alex, thanks so much for being here.
Hey man, thanks for having me on the show.
We're very surprised that there was actually an actual sim esports league happening here right in Southeast Asia. So yeah, we're here to know about the E1 Championship League. But to our audiences that aren't familiar with E1 Championship League, can you take us through it? What's the background for this championship series?
Well, simply put, E1 is the best, highest e-racing league you're going to see in Asia Pacific at the moment. You know, one of the silver linings about the pandemic is people have had to stay home, and all this huge motorsport community that we have in Asia have had to get into sim racing, you know? I mean, That's not to say that it wasn't there already. I mean, sim racing was already growing. We have great drivers, great teams already. So it was already a really good ecosystem. But now with all the other real motorsport people jumping into the sport, it's just increased the numbers, it's increased the professionalism, and we've seen a lot more new drivers come into the sport. In our e-racing GP league, we've got loads of teenagers, and the standards just gone boom, 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 boom. So those top sim drivers now have some decent competition to race against. So, you know, it was time for a league that had good production values, that we could curate good racing and really show why the best drivers in the region are so good, and the best teams, how they can make a difference. And that's where E1 came about.
Yeah, we've seen the pit stop series, the highlight series for E1. That's really a high production league for something like this. And I have some questions for the league and how it's operated right now. So, as starters, of course, after this, people are going to want to get in on the league because, as you said, it's growing and growing, and there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
So, as for the drivers, how were you able to field the competitors for E1? Was there a selection process through E1 itself, or do the franchises about to see for the rest of this episode, like GT Radial Eurasia, were they given free reign to elect their representatives?
Yeah, it's completely up to the teams to choose which drivers to use. So, you know, I've been running e-racing GP. It's another series which I've been running from my own house, and we've been running it all last year, and that was completely free. So it was very easy for the best drivers to come in, and also the not so good
before
drivers.
The pandemic.
Yeah, well, no, we started literally the week of. Well, we started in January. No, we started in February. But we'd already done on-the-ground competitions in 2018 and 2019. But 2020 was when we went fully online, obviously because of the pandemic. So we already knew the best drivers out there, but they were quite happy coming in, doing competitions, winning a little bit of prize money and stuff, but not so, you could see they weren't so fast about going out finding sponsorship, and that's where we need to go. If we really want to get to the next level, we need to make the professionalism go up. And that's when people will really start watching the sport. So with the E1 Championship, there's good prize money, but we also charge high entry fee. So this forced drivers and teams go, wow, if we want to participate and look at all the benefits of participating, good entry fee, good production, good commentary, good awareness on UGG network and stuff. They're like, wow, we have to raise the entry fee. So that forces them to go out and get sponsorship. And that's why you see GT Radio there and Eurasia. We've seen a lot of proper motorsport teams come into E1, like Eurasia. So the plan was to try and make it more professional and force the drivers, the teams, to choose the best drivers. Because, they're investing money. They were going to want to get the best drivers. And when they do this, then hopefully drivers get paid, sponsors get the value they need, and the teams and the drivers get paid. And that's what will raise Asian e-racing up to another level. And that was our strategy.
And also, I think it also gives these companies who are very used to the real steel motorsports a way into racing sim esports.
So that's the other issue. There are a lot of traditional motorsport sponsors which weren't getting the value for the sponsorship. They'd have to come up quite a bit of money to go real motor racing, and there just wasn't really the exposure they needed. People don't come down and watch it, especially in these times. They're not going to come down and spectate at a real life event. So if we could give something that was as good and get it shown on networks like UGG and even channels like Fox Sports Asia are taking it, that would give the sponsors the value they need.
That's really good. That's amazing. So speaking of the game, Race Room is the official racing sim for the E1 Championship. So is there a particular reason why you chose this racing sim over others for E1?
We chose Race Room, first of all, because they have a very strong Asian base here. They have an office here in Asia, in Malaysia, in fact. So they really throw their support behind it, and they're a really good bunch of guys to work with. B, Race Room is really easy to get in too. So we have a lot of beginners that can get into it. They can buy the game for free. They can drive the game for free. Okay, it's not subscription based like some of the other games. If you want to get the better cars and the better tracks, yes, you have to spend some money, but at least you can try the game for free. So that gets people in. And we have a lot of beginners come in using keyboard and mouse, using mobile phone attached to Bluetooth to the laptop, trackpads, all these sort of ways. So you don't have to invest in rigs and you can get into the game. And I really like that about Race Room. And also the physics are pretty good. The FX17, which we use in E1, is an excellent car. It's so much fun to drive. It drives just like a Formula 1 car. Trust me, I know. And when you do the setup changes, it does make a difference, which is important, because
you can actually feel the change in the car.
Yeah, because I didn't want it to be like GT Sport, where it's very, very surface level. You don't really need to change the setup of the car. It's very surfacey. So drivers and teams can't really make a difference. And I felt it was important that good teams could come in and they can work with the drivers. And if they get a special setup, they should win, because it should reward the whole team. And Race Room allows us to do that.
That's really good. Actually, that ties into my next question, which is, motorsports is deeply rooted in the synergy between the man and the machine. Historically, the cars become as iconic as the drivers behind them. And with that in mind, does the league allow for different hardware to be used across the competitors? Or so how does the league balance out the competition? Are they required to have wheels? Or someone can come in with a keyboard and mouse and compete in E1?
Yeah. So keyboard and mouse is never going to win in E1 because E1 is supposed to be the creme de la creme, the best of the best. So if you don't have a good wheel, unlikely you're going to win. Not impossible, but unlikely. So we have different leagues and different divisions for the guys at keyboard and mouse. So in Race Room now, Global Edition, people can come in and we'll change the settings so there's a bit of assist, so that if you're on a keyboard and mouse or trackpad, you can be as quick as the guys with the wheels. So that's very important. So at least they can win against the guys with the wheels if you can't afford a wheel. And then of course, as they get higher up and higher up, and when they get ready for E1, then it's important that they need, if you want to race against the best, you're going to have to invest in some equipment. But at least they know that they're getting there, that they're getting good enough. And then hopefully as they get a bit further up, they can attract sponsorship to go and get the wheel.
Yeah, that's really good to know, because I used to race with a keyboard and mouse, which I found really, really hard. Then I've now upgraded to like a better controller, not just like the normal like controllers, but very recently I've been thinking, oh, maybe it's time to switch to a wheel and start taking this seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I had an Indonesian driver who was racing in our copper and bronze class in e-racing GP, and he was winning with a phone. Yeah, there's an app you can use with the Android to connect the phone to your laptop, and he was just doing this, and he won a race with us.
It acts like a wheel because of the gyro of the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. All right. So yeah, next question. Unlike in real life F1, where drivers need to drive incredibly carefully to avoid like contacts and collisions because of car damage and injuries, E1 doesn't have that inherent danger since everyone's at the safety of their homes. To your experience, how does change driver mentality in E1?
Yeah, see, I'm the wrong person to ask for this because you're talking about the safety aspect and you're talking about how drivers take it easy because of safety. I don't understand that because from my point of view, we never take it easy. Safety is never a consideration when we drive. The only thing I'm concerned about, and drivers I speak to are concerned about, being slow. We never think, oh my gosh, I might die. I've never heard that conversation once. It's always about being as fast as possible, and we take whatever risks we need to take to win. We're much more scared of being slow than dying.
All right.
Because and that goes in the sim racing as well. We take it easy because we don't want to crash. Or we don't want to knock someone out and get penalized.
Yeah.
However, if there's no one stewarding and no one's being tough with the rules, I'm going to take people out if that's going to allow me to win.
Yeah.
That's the mentality you need as a race car driver. You need to push to the limits, and it's up to the organizer to make sure that everything is fair for everyone. So the organizers need to be very strong on that. It's not up to the drivers to censor themselves. The only time they censor themselves is because they want to win the race, and to win the race, you need to finish. So, having said that, sim drivers are a lot more. Sim drivers understand this, and they're very good at this. They know how to attract the risk-reward scenario better. The real-life drivers, they come in, they don't. They're always too aggressive. They always hit someone, and they don't finish the race. Yeah. So the real-life drivers like myself, we have to learn to calm down and go, okay, listen, you need to be clever about this, and maybe not make this move, not make this dive. Because if I make this dive, even if I make the move, I'm going to lose 2 seconds making it, and then that's never going to allow me to catch the leaders. Whereas sim drivers are a lot smarter about that.
All right. Well, before we move into the real life questions, just a little background into E1. There are a lot of racers like coming in from casual and arcade, going to sim now. And just to be familiar with how E1 works, do you also like incorporate real life track conditions into E1, into the simulations like rain and fog and sleet?
Race Room doesn't have provision for that. We can't do rain in Race Room. But what we do in E1, which is very important, is we do not release tire wear and fuel and what settings we're going to use, the ambient temperature, what time of day settings, because we like to throw that up last minute. It just, we still want the best drivers to win, but we need the best driver to work really hard for it. Because at the end of the day, it needs to be exciting. And that's what we have in traditional motorsport. It's always boring. You always know. Because the manufacturers, not only are they at the top because they have the best budgets, but they can influence the rules so that it's always attractive to them. And that's what happens.
Next question. It's about you. Being a real-life, highly decorated racing driver in different motorsports categories, what's the biggest principle that you carried over from real-life racing to sim esports racing?
Car setup. That works with car setup and how to run a team. Because that professionalism isn't here yet in sim racing, I noticed.
All right.
It's more about how analytical you have to be to approach your car driving and how you drive and how you run the team and how you do setup. I mean, there's nothing I could teach. The top sim drivers know how to drive already. There's nothing I can teach. I mean, if they want to get into a real car, I can obviously help them because I can say, okay, this bit you need to focus on, this bit you don't. This doesn't work in a real car. But they know how to drive, and there's so much information on YouTube and around the world that they can get just as much knowledge as I have, even more. Some of them are real anoraks. They know stuff I'm like, wow, that's impressive. And they learn things in 6 months that normally took me 6 years to learn in real life racing. Wow. So they can really accelerate the knowledge. But what they don't have is the critical thinking. Some of them have, but I'm generalizing here. They don't quite have the critical thinking to understand how to work through setup changes and how that changes to conditions and different cars, but also changes how you need to change your driving style to that. I get a lot of, I like the car to be oversteer, or I like the car to be understeer. But top drivers never say that. You go through anything with Michael Schumacher or Alonso. Show me one article they actually said I prefer oversteer or understeer car. They never say things like that. As a driver, you want a neutral car, and you just adjust your driving to what that car requires or what that track requires, and you understand how that interacts with setup and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where I found that we can make a big difference. So, like when we enter some of the endurance races and stuff, you can see they're there and they're boom. The real life teams I think are stronger than the teams who are just sim racers. And they have that engineering expertise to look at data. You know, a lot of the sim drivers, they can look at data, but they don't know how to get the most out of it, where the real life teams know how to get the most out of it. So that's the difference. And that's what I love about this last year, because you see a lot of real motorsport teams coming in. It's helping the sim drivers. The sim drivers are getting better because they're exposed to that. And it's just improving the sport all around.
I can kind of get what you're saying about that. There's like this tactile feel to the car that you get in real life, but it hasn't really like translated yet into sim.
But interestingly enough, the sim drivers always use feelings. When you ask them to describe the car, they always use feelings. Oh, it feels like this, it's pointy, it's like this, it's that. Real life drivers never use feelings. I mean, they will use on stuff compared to if you're talking about tires.
Yeah.
Because tires is very much a black art, and it's very difficult to understand, to explain what's happening with tires. But they never do that. They quantify everything. This turn in is this, mid corner is this, fast corner is this, car is doing this at this, and they quantify it, and we measure it, and then we measure it with the data to make sure it's correct. Because drivers are not drivers. To me, drivers are just sensors, and when they're sensors, they need to be calibrated, and we calibrate that with the data. But sim drivers don't know how to do that yet. So they do a lot of feeling. They say, oh, it's pointier. Oh, it's better. How's it better? Oh, it feels more responsive. I'm like, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So,
general term.
Yeah, that's where the drivers who do sim only need to get better in quantifying what it is, because everything is measurable. You can measure everything, and we can quantify everything. It's just learning how to do it.
That's really good insight. So, lastly, this is for the E1 Championship in general. I assume you're very familiar with Gran Turismo World Tour. It's famously known to be an FIA certified league. And for audiences, that means that an international motorsports federation recognizes it and includes it in its official structure.
Yeah.
Since this is the season 0 for E1 Championship and there's no way to go but up, are there already plans in the pipeline to have like the league be certified by an international sports federation the way Gran Turismo World Tour is?
Funnily enough, I'm talking to FIA about a few things. Yes, that could happen at the E1. I don't think it's important, to be honest, for what we're trying to do. No. It's nice, but it's not top of my priorities. But I am talking to FIA about other stuff. So GT Sport is great because FIA trying to introduce motorsport to a lot more new people.
Yeah.
And a lot more people drive.
Generation.
Yeah. So FIA, if you think about it, in Europe, it makes no sense to do iRacing or R-Factor or anything, because all the guys doing those are already motorsport fans. So they're going to be there no matter what. We will do some GT Sport games, and of course, because it's FIA certified, we will spend some attention with GT Sport. But I feel it's more important to look after our natural motorsport fans out there already in the sport, because they have no chance to go racing. We don't have enough circuits, we don't have enough competitions, we don't have enough manufacturer involvement, we don't have proper coaching. So how do we help those guys? We help them by doing really good sim racing competitions, because they don't have enough competitions yet. And that's why I'd want to focus on the more realistic games than GT Sport.
All right. So for you, it's more of enriching the already existing culture.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much for this interview, Sir Alex. So we're nearing the conclusion of season 0 of the league. Do you have any words for the competitors who will be duking it out in the next few days for the top spot, and for the would-be competitors coming in for the next season?
Well, I've got to keep watching. I mean, it's been a really exciting battle, especially in the Philippines. You know, Inigo Anton started so strong. Kind of struggled a little bit midway through the season, which is quite normal in real life as well. When you have drivers, because Anton and Garrido are both really inexperienced. They're luckily with a very experienced team, which is teaching them well, which is GT Radio Eurasia. But they're inexperienced drivers. And I often see that in real life. When you get inexperienced drivers come in, they can start quite strong, then they kind of fade in the middle. of the championship, and that happens because you're trying. Okay, I need to get to the front. I'm almost at the front, but I need to get that other step, and then you kind of start pushing harder and doing things a little bit wrong, and you go backwards. That's part of progress. So it'll be interesting to see if the last two races, Anton and Garrido, can kind of get back and get a little bit finish the year on a high, because sometimes that happens. For the wannabe drivers out there who want to join E1, hey, if you think you've got what it takes, join the E1 leaderboard on Race Room, because if you're quick enough, if you're in the top 3, you get to race with us the following week. We have 3 slots available for the 3 quickest drivers.
Really good.
And you've had a Filipino driver, Francis Gonzalez. He's qualified for E1 through that leaderboard. I think that's important, It's important to have a leaderboard out there that if you're quick enough, you get to race in the E1 round the next week. Yeah. So I think the leaderboard's still open. It closes on Sunday night. So jump on it. Give it a try.
So, Sir Alex, do you have a message for the audiences of the Scramble to watch the finals of E1 Championship Season 0?
Yeah, to all of you guys at Scramble, just keep watching E1 Championship. We got the final round coming this Thursday on the 21st. It's going to be double points. It's going to be...
Welcome back to the Scramble. Earlier, we had our producer, Kevin Evangelista, talk to Alex Yoong, our guest, and they discussed everything related to E1. This time around, we're going to get a taste of our very own local flavor and get to know our professional esports drivers for GT Radial Eurasia. Introducing our gentleman for today, none other than Inigo and Wakeen.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hi there, gentlemen. How are you feeling today?
Feel great? Yep.
Yeah, I feel good. How about you?
I'm good myself, gentlemen. I mean, happy holidays, happy new year. And I heard you just celebrated your 15th birthday. Am I right, Wakeen?
Yeah.
This is really quite inspiring. For such a young age, you're already a professional driver. I mean, both of you are very young. You're below the age of what we call as legal drivers here in the Philippines. But how on earth did you get to this place? I mean, when did you start? What age did you start? You're still super young.
Basically, for me, and I think also for Wakeen, we've been, I think, driving for about 8 years already, actually.
Yep.
Wait, let me do the math. So if you're saying 8 years, you were around 7 or 8 respectively.
Yes.
That's pretty crazy. I can't imagine. Like, did your parents actually tell you, like, oh, let's give it a try? Were you driving automatic? Was it a manual? Can you tell me how this all started?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I was celebrating my 7th birthday. Then my dad surprised me with a go-kart clinic with a close friend of his.
Aww.
And then after that clinic, I basically just fell in love with the sport and then been doing it ever since.
Oh, can you say it's your first love, Wakeen?
I guess so.
Almost. Almost, not quite. Anyway, and how about you, Inigo? What's your backstory? How exactly did you get in driving? So if it was an invitation to go-karting for Wakeen, was it a similar story for you? Or did you just drive away in your dad's car, in your mom's car? What's the story?
Well, it's kind of different from Wakeen's story. Well, firstly, ever since I was young, like a toddler even, I was just always into cars and I always wanted to drive. And I kept on begging my dad, like, Dad, please, I want to drive so badly already and everything. And yeah, instead of trying out karting, which usually younger kids do, we kind of went the opposite way. And he told me to start driving actual real cars.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's at first.
I like your dad.
Of course. Yeah. Of course, it was illegal, but we didn't do it illegally because, of course, in the roads we cannot drive. Okay?
Yes.
So what we did is that in the racetrack, all by myself. So no cars beside me or no cars I'm driving with, so that I just learn how to drive. And eventually, actually, all the past 8 years, I haven't actually driven in the real road. It's always been always in the racetrack. So we only just driven in the racetrack because it's allowed there under consent and under supervision of my dad, of course.
Okay.
And yeah, that's how I started to learn how to drive, and I was just, like what he said, I was in love already with just driving.
That's a very interesting backstory, Inigo. I'm actually pretty curious. So you never actually have been on the roads here in the Philippines, except for the racetrack, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it's just always been in the racetrack, and yeah, for the past 8 years.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just I've been learning always from there. But kind of happy about it because I turned 16 last June, and I was able to get my permit already. So I'm finally legally able to drive. Yeah,
you got your student's ID now, don't ya?
Yeah.
So how does it feel? You have bragging rights now. You're a professional on the racetrack, and now you have your student's driver as well.
Well, actually, I think it's the other way. I feel more pressure. It's like a different way of driving. Actually, it's like I'm still getting used to it, and I'm like, actually, I think I'm the slowest driver on the road. But when I get to the racetrack, I think, I can hold my own.
You're the fastest. Next, I like that. I actually appreciate that you recognize the real dangers on the real road. But it's really interesting as well. You're talking about driving crazy, stupid fast, right? And that's on the racetrack. But obviously on our real roads, how about you, Wakeen? Have you actually driven a car, student's ID on the way? Are you starting to train as well for the real world?
I've driven a couple of cars, but it's only in the racetrack.
Okay.
Since I just turned 15, I would basically go to jail if I drive with
It's our little secret. It's our little secret. Disclaimer, we went to the small roads, by the way, without any other car in sight. It's a little secret. So what do you guys drive when you're on the real road? Are you driving a manual or an automatic?
Manual, for sure.
Next.
Yeah, in the racetrack and also on the roads, we're mostly used to manual.
Okay, excellent. So how exactly do your friends and family cheer you on? Would your fathers, both of you have inspiration from your fathers as the people who pushed you into driving or inspired you to get into driving. So how about the rest of your family and friends? Do they encourage you? Do they support your passion in driving? What's it like?
My parents really support me, but it's not quite the same with my grandparents.
I bet.
Because they think racing is just a death trap.
I like the honesty though.
Yeah, but whenever we race, we always take the safety precautions seriously, and
I'm sure.
then fun comes next.
And how about for you, Inigo? What's it like?
Yeah,
do you get pressure from your loved ones?
Well, for my mom and dad, they've always supported me and everything. But just my whole family in general, even my mom and dad sometimes, the dangers and so stop racing now, you can pursue something else. But at the end of the day, they still, support me, and as like what he said, we always take the necessary precautions to, always keep safe.
Right. I'm glad that you guys are actually talking about safety. And, in light of what's happening around the world, after all, we all experienced it. We're in a pandemic. I'm sure that the racetracks have been closed as well, right?
Yep.
So how exactly do you get to practice now? Is there something that took place? Are you just in the garage and pretending to drive? Or do you have your PPE on and you're just driving around or main roads? What exactly is your practice ground?
So my practice ground right now is sim racing.
There we go. Okay.
Yep. Joining multiple events locally and internationally will sure help me to, get my itch out of driving.
I like that. Did you get to scratch it enough?
Yeah.
And how about you, Inigo?
Yeah, the same thing, because everything's closed. It's like it was like the end of the world for me when
I know.
what you call it?
It's like the Armageddon.
It's like, so what can I do now? And for both of us, we found sim racing actually. And some people might think actually, it's just games. It can't relate to real life. But actually, the programmers, they've done such an amazing job, and it just feels like the real thing. So it's like I feel at home. literally in home at my house. Yeah.
I see the pun there. I
Yeah.
caught you on that. I caught you with that. So for both of you, it's very interesting that you're getting into the simulation driving, into the sim racing. But for people who are not experienced with sim driving and who want to actually get onto the racetrack or even in real life driving, do you think that this actually translates to really honing your skills as a driver? Can you tell me about your experience? You were talking about it a while ago, Inigo, that the game developers have made it very, very real life. But what exactly is your personal experience? Let's start with Wakeen.
For me, I find sim racing very amusing because not only can you feel the bumps, the tiny bumps on the road,
Really?
but you can also feel when your car's about to spin out, or if there's something wrong with the car, you
Wow.
can feel it thoroughly. Yeah.
No way. Okay, so you have the whole setup at home, right?
Yep.
So for a noob like me, when it comes to sim racing, like can I experience Mario Karting on the racetrack and still feel the effects?
Mario Kart? Not really. Because in real life, you wouldn't want to crash.
Exactly. But I just want to find out safely what it's gonna be like.
Well, I'll tell you something. There's no blue shells or bananas, so that's okay.
I like that. And how about for you, Inigo? Like, do you actually have things that you're trying to practice? Like, for instance, drifting. Drifting might be difficult here to actually practice even on our racetrack. So do you get to practice it when you're on your simulation driving?
Yeah, so another thing of sim racing is that since you're at your home and you don't really have any dangers, you could say I haven't thought of anything that like comes with sim racing. So like you can be as aggressive as you want, you can try many things, and like also drifting, like you can crash a million times on the sim so that you learn from it and you don't do it in real life. So it's actually pretty good, like it teaches you without having all the dangers. So when you get into the real thing, it's what you call it, you can be safer.
Very interesting. So for our audience who are not familiar with driving in the real life or even on the racetrack, what would you say, or where would you suggest that they start out with? Like, do they start with a certain program? Do they start with a certain game? What are your suggestions?
I suggest to join some local leagues
Nice.
because there's a lot of beginners there and some pros where you can learn a lot from them, like the lines, how you overtake, where to pass, and more.
So real life skills can be learned on simulation driving. And how about you, Inigo?
Yeah, same thing as well. Since like real life also it's very costly also sometimes. But like sim racing is another how do you call it? Like opening to people who actually want to race. And
True.
yeah, like the same as Wakeen said, just join the leagues, have fun in like all the different games. Even though like if it's Mario Kart, it might still teach you something, as long as you have fun, yeah. And just join other leagues in sim races or not. And sometimes even the prizes are amazing. It's like if you win some tournaments or some championships, they actually let you try and drive the real thing in the racetrack.
Very interesting. You're talking about a community here in itself. And you are part of GT Radio Eurasia. So do you guys actually have for instance, a training team that some people can join into? Can they actually get personal tips from you as well? I mean, we're trying to build a whole league and a whole community. So what is your hope as a driver for GT Radio?
My hope is to get everyone to sim racing and let's expand the league. Let's make it more known to all the people in the world that Filipinos are good in driving and in any game actually.
I agree.
We have to raise the flag for the Philippines.
Woohoo! Let's do it!
Events.
I love it. I love the Filipino pride right there. And how about you, Inigo? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, same thing. Like it's a new opportunity for everybody, and it'll bring more people into the sport, and it'll make the competitions even more fun, and And yeah, just for everyone to have fun, and actually hopefully later on in the future, if we can build a good team and good league, that we can all represent our country like the highest competitions and championships.
So what other games do you suggest that people can practice on aside from Race Room?
My personal favorite aside from Race Room is iRacing. Although some content is paid, the free ones it's really nice, since they to have the track in the game, they go to the track in real life and then they have to scan everything. So all the bumps, the marks on the track, and where the grass is and the color of the curves are all the same in the game and in real life.
Wow, true to life experience.
Yes.
And how about for you, Inigo?
Yeah, with how many games there are out, like, yeah, I can't really choose one actually. Like, yeah, I always
Mario
kinda
Kart.
interchange it with Mario Kart if you just want to have fun, and not, really take it seriously. But for other games, I'd say, like, if you're more into just driving yourself and driving different cars and tracks, there's Assetto Corsa, which has a lot of mods. Like, you might find your actual car that you're driving on the road in the game. Like, you just find it there. Also with tracks,
Interesting.
some people put like a whole Japanese highway actually
Wow.
into that game.
Yeah,
It's like very detailed
yeah, and they also have some of our local tracks in Assetto Corsa.
as well.
If you search it up on the net, you can download it and race in it. Since the tracks are closed now, you can do it at your house.
Excellent. Anyway, so gentlemen, we got to wrap things up. What advice can you give to future race car drivers out there, people who inspire to be just like you?
My advice to them is just to be patient, have fun, and I'll see you around in the tracks.
Nice! I love it. Taas ang bandila. Raise that flag up high. And how about you, Inigo?
Yeah, same thing. Just try it, enjoy it, have as much fun as you want, and hopefully we see you in the racetrack and you can actually drive the real thing.
All right, excellent. Very well said. And of course, everyone watching, our audience, always put your safety belt on. Always. That's all I can add to this professional scene over here. All right, thank you very much to Inigo and to Wakeen, our professional esports drivers for GT Radial Eurasia. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you for having
Thank you.
us.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Of course, once again, Inigo and Wakeen, our professional esports drivers for GT Radial Eurasia. When we get back, I'm going to have the professional drivers be my backseat drivers, and we're going to experience the game together, and you guys have to coach me through it. Is that okay with you guys?
Yep. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah.
Woo, I'm nervous. I'm already breaking a sweat. All right, all that and more right here on The Scramble. Hi guys, welcome back to The Scramble, and we're going straight into our last segment called Hands On, where we check out the latest cutting-edge tech that the gaming world has to offer. The ROG Phone 3 is no stranger to the show. We've featured it many times in our previous episodes, and we're all very familiar with what it can do. It's the do-all gaming phone. But for 2021, ROG said that it's time to bump up the experience just one notch and sent us this baby. Oh yes, we got the ROG Kunai 3 Gamepad. Check that out. Let's just take a really quick look at the box. Very savvy, pretty, and we shall do a really quick unboxing for this, okay? So, immediately you already have your carrying case, which holds our controller as well as the charging cradle. There you go. After you take this out, you can also see immediately that you have your controller extension, which makes the grip more ergonomic, and all you gotta do is basically just clip it on. Watch this. Ta-da! Simple, easy, and also very easy to remove. All you gotta do is press on this button right over here. Viola! And it comes off just like that. So let's leave this right over here on the side, and let me show you the rest of the contents. We have, of course, a charging cord. Very sturdy one too, I might say. There you go. Very, very sturdy. Pretty long one too. Okay, let's put that to the side. And lastly, of course, we have our gaming case. So let's just get rid of the box and let me show you how easy it is to assemble your Kunai 3 to your ROG Phone 3 as well. So it comes with a user manual and of course in this very, very sterile container. Yes, there you go. So let's attach the phone, the ROG 3, to the case. All you gotta do is slip it on. Make sure that you put it on the, like I said, make sure you gotta put it on the right corner over there. So boom, bam, and you're ready to go. Then just remove your controllers from the charging cradle, like so. Very, very easy. Then slip it onto your phone. And we're gonna put this to the test with some racing games. Voila, done. Ready to race, baby. Now that we've unboxed and set up the ROG Kunai 3, it's time to bring in my pit crew. We got Inigo and Wakeen.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this. Let's win.
Let's do this, guys. Let's go.
Let's go.
Go. So guys, I have with me the ROG Phone 3 right here with the Kunai 3 Gamepad, and you have to teach me how to be fast on the tarmac. Oh my goodness, my hands are getting clammy already. Let me just fan them a little bit.
You got this. Yep.
I got this. Okay, let's do this. Okay, be my professional backseat drivers. Let's do this. This is an arcade racing game, so I'm sure that I'll fare pretty well because it's just the arcade stuff anyway, so let's get to it. Asphalt 9 Legends is an arcade racing game by Gameloft that not only has 144Hz support for the ROG Phone 3, but also full gamepad support for the Kunai 3. With an ROG Kunai 3 connected, players can switch from swipe control to full steering driving control in-game. I gotta say, you guys have to experience this. The Kunai 3 is really savvy and it's so ergonomic, very comfortable in my hands. And I got tiny hands and this just feels like it's meant to be.
Yeah, look.
It's meant for me. I need it in my life. All right, so guys, I'm gonna start. Why am I in the highly dangerous route? Oh my gosh, snow, but snow is a different element in itself. It's gonna be slippery. What's the trick, guys? What's the trick? I'm scared.
Just flat out.
Just go for
When
it.
in doubt, flat out. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that saying. When in doubt, flat out.
Floor it.
Floor it, yeah, floor it. Oh boy.
Oh, big
One
jump.
down, one down. Oh, two down, three down. Oh my god, out of my way, out of my way. I wanna win. Give me that turbo. Ah!
It looks like a big jump.
Yes.
Oh, take down. Ooh,
Double
take
takedown.
down. Double takedown.
Oh my god.
Oh, you made it. Nice.
I got this. Come on.
Oh, another.
Wait. This is a long route. Okay. Am I winning or am I
Take the
losing?
boost. Ooh.
Oh my god,
Let's just not
Okay,
look
do
at
the
it.
bar.
Let's not look
Oh,
at
that's the
it.
finish. Nice one.
Nice one.
Let's go.
That's not bad. That's good.
Really, first.
I'm first place. What can you say? I won.
See, perfect drive. Absolutely
No.
amazing. Double takedown too.
Pwede,
Thank you.
Pwede na mag-pro.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Pop in the champagne. Let's do it. Thank you. So how did you find my fighting skills? Like the double takedown? Pretty good, huh? Impressive for a
Great.
first
That's
Yeah.
timer on
really
that one.
impressive. Let's just remember to keep that in the game.
Yeah.
Yes. Always seatbelt on, and guys, disclaimer: only in game, okay?
Only in game.
Not
We
in
can do
real
it. Double
life.
backflip, barrel roll. Yeah.
Next up, we got Grid Auto Sport. This is soft sim, meaning we got some driving assist, which we can turn on and off, but for now, we set everything to low assist. Or should I say they set everything to low assist to see me fail. Grid Autosport is a soft sim racing game from Codemasters and Feral Interactive, and is the only paid game we're featuring today. It delivers pedal-to-the-metal racing experiences similar to its Windows counterpart, with 60 Hz and generic gamepad support. Speaking of assisting, I don't mind if you give me some tips before I start. So what exactly should I do here? What can I do for better control?
I'd say the main thing with Grid is like completely opposite of Asphalt. Avoid every crash because it's just
Avoid
gonna be
every crash.
crazy. I know it's so
Gotcha.
chaotic.
Gotcha.
And this is not like Asphalt where there's no damage. So
Ooh.
be aware
Yep.
of that as well.
Okay, so this takes damage. I gotcha. Am I really ready for this, gentlemen? Am I really ready? I'm sweating already. I'm breaking a sweat. Okay,
Yep,
let's
you're
play.
definitely ready. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Come
Let's
on.
do this. I can do this. I can do this. Okay, ready? Okay, let's do this. Take a deep breath.
Hey, go.
I'm not even moving. What
the
is
control.
happening?
There you
There you
go.
go.
I'm gonna lose already.
Oh, you can't.
I had a head start.
There, follow the racing line. The racing line
Follow the
kind of
green line.
teaches you what to do.
Is it best if I stay inside of that green line?
If you're in the
Oh.
middle of it, that would
Man, this is hard.
Yeah.
Come on, man, turn. Can I turn like this?
You're wall riding the car.
stream.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So, I accidentally pulled the cord out of excitement. So, gentlemen, we have to redo this segment. So, are you ready
Let's
Yep.
go.
to be my backseat drivers? Let's do this. Okay, brake.
That's a bit too much. That's
A little bit too much.
Oh, okay, a little damage there. Oh, more damage there. My bumper just came off.
Alright,
Don't-
keep going.
Guys, don't do this in real life.
Oh, before-
Okay, I'm getting a
before-
hang of it. Yes, before you turn the corner, that's
Stay outside.
hey,
There you go.
Nice.
That's it. That's it.
I'm getting the. Oh, I'm not hitting the walls. Oh, turn. Oh no!
It's okay,
I
it's
hit
just
a
a little
wall.
side
Why did I open the door?
I think you should close it.
Why did I open the door there? Is it just me, or it seems to be easier to be turning to the right more than on the left?
Oh, it
I
might
think
be the
it's because
damage.
you have damage.
Oh, that makes sense.
Let's push a little bit more.
There.
Yes, but
There, I'm
Yes,
pushing.
there you
Oh my
Nice.
god.
That was quick.
Okay, I'm trying.
Just a
Oh
little
my
tap.
gosh,
Oop.
I
just a
am
little tap.
trying.
Oh, you lost your door. Oh.
I lost
It's
my
okay.
door.
Car's still drivable.
It's alive. It's alive. It's okay.
Okay, last corner.
Last quarter.
Break.
Is
Break.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yep.
didn't
Gas,
break.
Nice one.
gas.
Gas.
To the finish line. Nice one.
Nice.
Hey,
You
what can I
survived.
say? I survived. 12th place out of what?
You failed to remove the last door. What's up with that?
Wow. It's a lot harder than I thought. I'm actually really sweaty right now. Wow,
But how's the
I am
controller?
sweaty. The controller's very comfortable. Like, it just fits so perfectly in my hands, and it's light. I am in awe of how easy it was to use, the controls itself, but it's the driving. My driving skills suck, apparently, on the racetrack, which is fine. I accept that. We can't have everything. Last up, we got Real Racing 3. RR3 is a full-on simulator, so let's starting off with the ROG Phone 3. So my pit crew, are you ready?
Let's do
Yep.
this.
Real Racing 3 is EA and Firemonkey's full-on racing simulator experience for mobile and is our hardest racer for today. It's got over 45 locations and over 300 licensed cars and boasts full 144 Hz and native gamepad support. Okay, but before I start, so I heard that this route that I'm going to go through, the Nürburgring, which is a mouthful by itself, this is supposed to be legendary. Why?
So this track is technically called the Green Hell. 'Cause-
What?
Yeah.
Green Hell or the Boneyard.
What?
Or
Also,
the Boneyard.
The
Oh, yeah, also
Boneyard.
the Boneyard. So it's known to be one of the toughest tracks in a race calendar. And I can't wait to see you conquer it, you know?
We're just doing the circuit layout now, but it's still terrifying, but you got this.
Yes.
You guys are so sweet. You got, oh, look at my own posse. I love it. Okay, so I'm ready. I think I'm mentally ready. So, shall I begin?
Yes,
On your mark?
let's do it.
Yep.
Okay. Whew, let's do this.
Careful
Alright.
for the first quarter. That's the
Yes,
tricky one.
you might
Right,
fly off.
okay, let's do this.
Step up
And
bring
bring.
down. Oh,
It's okay.
Ooh.
Keep going.
it's okay. Keep
Oh,
going.
oh,
keep going,
oh, 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 why is, oh, 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 oh,
It's
oh,
okay, it's
Hey,
okay,
you
it's
passed.
okay.
You passed
You
5 people
passed
there.
2
Let's go.
people. And then break. And then, okay.
It's okay. Yeah, just keep
Okay,
passing on the
okay.
inside.
Damn, you're good.
You're already almost up to first. Oh,
Jeez. Oh, wow.
wow, you're already second. Just need to pass one. And there it is.
Wow,
Let's go.
you're.
I'm first!
Just keep it up.
Wait. Now
The
the
break.
pressure is
Oh,
on.
break.
Oh my god, oh my
Break,
god, oh my
break,
god, oh my
break.
god, oh my god, oh my god.
It's okay.
Keep going.
It's okay.
I got
Oh.
this, I got this, okay.
You got
Stay
this.
calm, stay calm.
Stay focused.
Coach,
No,
break,
no, no.
break.
Oh, that's the pit lane.
Oh,
Oh,
what a line.
nice. One more lap.
Go,
There's
keep
one more
going,
lap. Where are you going?
keep going.
Keep going. Okay, keep going,
One more
keep
lap.
going.
One more lap.
Oh my gosh,
Okay,
oh my
first
gosh.
quarter again.
First corner, you take him in the inside, so you stay on the right side.
Stay on the right side, stay on the right
Break.
side,
Break.
stay on the right side. Break,
Nice.
break,
Nice.
and then gas,
Floor.
and then
Nice.
gas,
Go.
and then gas,
Yeah.
and then
Round of
turn
applause.
Queen.
left,
Let's
and
go.
then
Break,
I'm
break.
first.
There,
Oh my god,
there.
oh my
Nice,
god,
nice, nice,
oh my god,
nice
oh my
line.
god.
Last quarter.
Then break.
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 Nice. Oh. Oh no.
Oh, what did I do? What did I do?
Gas, just go. Hit the wall.
What did I do?
Still good though. Second.
Oh.
Let's go. Still. Oh.
Nice try. I guess it wasn't a green hell for her, you know?
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm proud of myself. You know, that's like pro and real sim. So
That was
Amazing.
good. I'm really impressed.
really?
Yeah.
Everybody in 3 corners.
Yeah, dude, you were first in like what? The first 4 corners?
I love it. Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm so ready to actually try this on a real racetrack. So, excellent experience and excellent coaching. Thank you very much, Inigo and Wakeen, for helping me out there with that break. Oh my goodness. That was a good experience. So,
That was fun.
So that's it for hands-on, as a matter of fact. I had a ton of fun with the ROG Kunai 3. I hope you guys get to experience this phone as well as the controllers. It's really sleek, it's very easy to maneuver through it, and it's gonna elevate your gaming to the next level as always with Asus, and experience a full integrated gamepad. Look no further with the Kunai 3 gamepad. So that's it for our segment called Hands On with the Kunai 3. And thank you very much to my pit crew. We got Wakeen and Inigo. So guys, I know that you guys are going to be competing very soon. How can we support your endeavor? And where do you stream? And how can we follow you guys and show you some love?
You guys could watch us at E1 Championships in Facebook, if you search that up. Or as well as E-Racing GP in Facebook also. Then, if you would like to check our streams, my link in Facebook and in Twitch is at Wakeen, Wakkeen. And
Gotcha. And how about you, Inigo?
Yeah, same. We have our E1 Championship coming up this Thursday. So yeah, it would be
Ooh,
great
very
if you'd
soon.
support us at EGG Network in Facebook. And if you wanna follow me, if ever I want to stream but I haven't got into it, you can follow my Facebook page at Inigo Anton.
All right, very exciting days ahead for both of you. Congratulations in advance for getting this far with your career, and I do hope to see you more representing the Philippines internationally and even here locally. And thank you so much for joining the Scramble and for the awesome driving tips. I mean, how can you go wrong? Brake, go,
Gas.
step on it. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Driving tips to start off the year with a bang. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Again, my name is Samantha Purvor. See you in the next episode right here on The Scramble.